Tariffs have long been a tool used by governments to regulate trade, protect domestic industries, and shape foreign policy. In the United States, tariffs have played a significant role in the nation's economic history, from the early days of protectionism to the modern era of globalized trade. However, under former President Donald Trump, tariffs became a central part of his economic strategy. Trump's aggressive approach to tariffs was designed to address long-standing trade imbalances and to protect American manufacturing jobs that he argued had been undermined by unfair trade practices. His tariff policies, especially his trade war with China, marked a stark departure from previous administrations' emphasis on free trade and open borders. The central thesis of this piece is that Trump's tariff plans, while aimed at bolstering the American economy, could also have significant political ramifications, particularly for the Democratic Party. By appealing to the working-class voters who felt neglected by globalization and free trade, Trump's tariffs could erode traditional Democratic support in key swing states, potentially altering the political landscape for years to come. Before Donald Trump's presidency, U.S. tariff policies were largely influenced by the global trade agreements and free trade principles that dominated the post-World War II era. The U.S. was a major proponent of reducing tariffs internationally, leading to agreements like the North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA, and the World Trade Organization, WTO. These agreements, while promoting global trade, also led to an increase in outsourcing and a loss of manufacturing jobs in America, especially in industries like steel, textiles, and electronics. Trump's tariff policies were crafted as a response to these growing economic concerns. His administration aimed to reduce the trade deficit, protect American jobs, and revitalize domestic industries that had been harmed by international competition. One of the most prominent actions he took was imposing tariffs on steel and aluminum imports, citing national security concerns. Trump also initiated a trade war with China, imposing tariffs on billions of dollars worth of Chinese goods to pressure China to address issues such as intellectual property theft and unfair trade practices. These tariffs were central to Trump's America First economic agenda, which sought to prioritize American industries and workers over international trade agreements and global competition. The goal was clear: protect American businesses and workers from foreign competition that had undermined U.S. manufacturing. Donald Trump's tariffs were explicitly designed to protect American manufacturing industries and jobs from foreign competition, particularly in sectors that had been hit hard by globalization. Industries such as steel, aluminum, and automotive manufacturing faced intense competition from overseas, particularly from countries like China, where production costs were much lower. By imposing tariffs on imported goods, Trump aimed to make American products more competitive by leveling the playing field. This protectionist approach was seen as a way to safeguard factory jobs that had been disappearing due to cheap foreign imports and outsourcing. For the American working class, particularly those in manufacturing-heavy regions, Trump's tariffs offered tangible benefits. The tariffs helped to reduce the influx of foreign goods that had undermined domestic production, providing a boost to factories and workers who had struggled with job losses. Sectors such as steel and aluminum saw some revival as domestic production became more cost competitive, and jobs that had been outsourced or underpaid were brought back to the U.S. The automotive industry, too, benefited from the protectionist stance, as the tariffs forced companies to invest in domestic production, ensuring more American-made cars were manufactured. Furthermore, agriculture, another key sector, was also impacted by tariffs. While certain farmers initially faced challenges from retaliatory tariffs imposed by trading partners, others saw a positive shift as Trump's policies led to the growth of certain agricultural exports. Overall, while the full economic impact of tariffs remains debated, they did contribute to growth in specific industries that directly benefited from reduced competition and increased domestic demand. The Democratic Party, on the other hand, struggled to address these concerns. Their endorsement of globalization and free trade agreements over the years increasingly alienated blue-collar workers, who felt that the benefits of globalization were unevenly distributed. While the Democratic Party championed the benefits of open trade for consumers and global economic growth, it failed to offer adequate solutions to counter the harm it caused American workers, particularly in manufacturing. In contrast, Trump's populist message directly spoke to these voters' frustrations and provided a clear alternative to the Democrats' economic policies. The Democratic Party's shift toward more progressive policies, especially in the 21st century, has contributed to an increasing alienation of blue-collar voters. Historically, the party had been a staunch advocate for labor rights and the protection of working-class interests. However, as the party moved towards supporting more progressive social policies and environmental concerns, it left behind many of the traditional working-class voters who had long supported it. The focus on issues like climate change, healthcare reform, and immigration reform, while important, did not resonate with voters who were primarily concerned about job security and economic opportunity in industries like manufacturing. This shift in priorities has deepened the divide between the Democratic Party's elite wing and working-class Americans. While the party became more focused on urban, college-educated voters, it neglected the concerns of the blue-collar workers who were facing economic hardship. These voters, who once formed the backbone of the Democratic coalition, increasingly felt that the party was more aligned with corporate interests and global elites than with the needs of ordinary American workers. Furthermore, the Democratic Party failed to adopt policies that would directly address the economic losses caused by offshoring jobs and the decline of manufacturing industries. While they supported retraining programs and other forms of assistance, these efforts were often seen as insufficient. By not fully addressing the economic insecurity caused by globalization and the decline of traditional industries, the Democrats inadvertently paved the way for Trump's populist rise, which promised to bring jobs back and protect American workers through tariffs and protectionist policies. For more insights and updates, make sure to subscribe.